Welcome to Blue Tinted Glasses, the home of Leicester City talk on YouTube. Fan debates, live watch-alongs, post-match reactions, and all the Foxes banter you could ask for. Subscribe now and see the game through Blue Tinted Glasses.
Just into race clear. He's got Jamie Vardy with him. Jamie Vardy sets off. Jamie Vardy! Pull back here for Darwin. Oh, he scored! An absolute belter! That is trademark Abdul Fatahwood.
This one into the box. Nugent over the top. Oh, what a goal! David Nugent's just scored a beauty. He's made Forest look like fools.
Premier League champions 2016. The amazing Leicester City.
Good morning and welcome back to Blue Tinted Glasses. It's Good Morning Foxes, Sunday morning, and as you can see, it's a busy one today. We have 5 of us. Blame me for that. Blame me for that. Before we get into it, make sure to smash a like on the video. Make sure to hit subscribe as well. We're going to be talking all about yesterday's game. There's a lot to unpack from it. So let's go around and see how everybody is. Let me come to you first, Graham. How are you?
Bang average.
What?
Yeah, now
I was going to say, Graham, you should probably let people know. You should probably let people know what time it is where you are, and you're not drinking wine at half 9.
It's 12:30, so the sun's over the yard somewhere, and I know where that sign that you sit in front of comes from.
Yes, go on, tell people where it is.
It's from Beaver Drive.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, outside Beaver Drive.
Yeah, tried to get it to fall on Peter Taylor's head, but he missed.
Yeah. Let me move over now to Michael. Michael, what's going on, mate? How are you?
I'm personally not doing too bad, but yesterday left me pretty depressed. So it is what it is. We'll touch on that shortly.
Yeah, 100%. Just a little warning. Sorry, guys, I am still feeling pretty shit from COVID. I'm getting there. So yeah, excuse me if I sound a bit like whatever. Jack. Yeah, uninterested. That's always me on a Sunday morning though. Jack, what's going on, mate? How's things with you?
Yeah, I'm all right.
Everyone sounds fucking depressed.
I'm not expecting. This is the way the cookie crumbles as a Leicester fan, and it can be up 1 minute and down the next. But yeah, these draws are doing us great, aren't they? Fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely. Is that 5 draws in 6 games? So yeah, we're going to talk about that. Steve, last one, mate. God, full house today. How are you, mate?
How are we doing? I'm all right. Everyone else looks really depressed, but I'm quite happy today. So not Graham though. He's drinking wine, so he's doing all right.
Hold on, Graham. What did you say, Graham?
I'm gutted.
Yeah. Right, let's get into it. Before I do that, let's just see who's here. Reese, morning to you, mate. Phil, hello to you. Valtteri, good morning. Azola. Reese says, Jack, Steve, lovely to meet you both yesterday. Ryan says, just got off a 13-hour flight, not the result. Yeah, Ryan's just got back from somewhere, Australia or Thailand or somewhere like that. I don't know. Let us know, Ryan. Frankie, morning. We watched Luke Thomas again last night. What it makes you feel like? Yeah. We drop another 2 points. Buzz woke up with depression. Give me that wine that Graham has. It's 9 a.m. And tripe onions, morning, my little poppets. Right. Okay, let's get into it. I'm going to come to Graham first. Graham, by the way, the reason I've muted you in between is just because I'm getting a bit of feedback. So apologies about that, but I'm going to unmute you now when I ask you this. Go on, mate. Talk to me. I mean, how are you feeling? What is your initial reaction right now to yesterday's game? Because I think, after the Swansea game, we thought, all right, we've put this run of draws behind us. We've got back to winning ways, and now it just feels like, another step backwards after yesterday.
Well, I think the first half was the best I think I've seen this season. I might have missed 1 or 2, but apart from overhitting crosses, we're getting crosses in the box. I thought the new striker took up good positions for when we were lobbing the ball. It was very unlucky with one came off his foot. And the first half was, but how many football matches have we all been to where the first half like that, maybe a team scores 3 goals in the first half, comes out the second half, that you've got to say Pompey's manager played a blinder, moving that centre half into midfield. And, you could see our manager getting the 8 because we weren't trying to lob the ball over the top. We were still trying to play through the middle. And there was no space for that. I think second half was depressing. I've just done too many football matches. I've just seen too many games like that. I think everybody's being a bit harsh on Thomas as usual because Pierre, just before he got hooked, literally passed the ball to the opposition player, but luckily nothing came of it. Yeah, Thomas slipped. Pierre was out of place. Paz was, I'm not going down because if I go down, I'll slip over and I'll get the blame. The striker let go of the ball, and my keeper, I've got to say, he would have felt like he should have done better. I know it was whizzing, but he's near post. You don't like get beaten. But also the fact that I don't think that I'm just saying, if Thomas hadn't slipped, maybe he would have taken that yard in and the goalkeeper moved to the right thinking I've got a swirly-whirly cross-come shot coming in. But we never looked in the game second half. I think we have to realise, my last point on this one is that every team come to Leicester with a Man United of this division. Everybody plays out of their skin. Everybody wants to beat us. Their away fans, Pompey fans, sing up Pompey, they're amazing. So we didn't lose, and there was a chance of doing that. But you can also see, I said that was the final point, but I'm going to go one more, is that the strength on the bench. I thought some of the players that came on the bench, I thought Ayew came on and did a good job. I thought Samari came off the bench and did a good job. Daka, well, I know again he's the fall guy for this thing, but really, apart from run around, what could he do?
Score?
Score, yeah, we have to have the ball in front of you facing towards the goal to score, don't you? So, I can't remember one opportunity that he had that he fluffed his lines, which he normally does. So I'm not defending him, but I'm just saying, there are a lot of players. Again, sorry, one more point is that I think second half, what showed to me is that, again, this thing about where everybody's Man United, referees are going to give the opposition team advantage. And we are going down like 10 pins. Every time we get touched, we go down like we've been shot. This is not the Premier League. The guys have not got VAR. They've not got the world watching them. So stay on your feet and try and get the ball back.
Yeah, well, let's continue talking about that goal. So I'm going to come to you, Michael. So when we were doing the watch along, I think, from back to front, it started with Carranza, who just kind of fell over. Some people said he got fouled. I don't think it was a foul. I think he just got dispossessed. He got tackled.
Yeah, he goes down too easy quite a lot.
Yeah, which is frustrating because Daka does the same. Wout Faes then, again, as Graham said, he didn't lunge it. He just kind of pulled out of the tackle. Luke Thomas, I think, just got done like Luke Thomas does. And then Jakob, he kind of took a step to the right, anticipating maybe a shot across goal. And then by that point, he was off balance. He couldn't get, to the left enough to save it. So I feel like it was just, Michael, a collective of shit, to be honest, that led to that goal. It wasn't one person. It was a combination of probably, 4 or 5 players. And let me just show this photo that I saw yesterday, which I did find quite funny. Obviously, when something happens in the game, everyone just posts one thing on Twitter, and this was what the feed looked like yesterday after the goal. Stolarczyk, Luke Thomas, Cardio Man Carranza, someone shoot Wout Faes, which I found quite funny. Just literally 5 people blaming 5 different people. But what did you make to the goal?
I've only seen the goal once. I haven't rewatched any of the highlights, so apologies for that. My initial reaction was that Faes most probably should have been able to block that. I thought he was a bit tame and a bit timid. And then secondly, I would have liked Stolarczyk to have done better as well. Can't comment on Thomas. I thought I didn't think someone commented there saying he was massively out of position. I don't think it was too bad. But again, I've only watched it back once. Yeah. My biggest takeaway from this really though is that it should never have even got to that point. Like the game really should have been killed in the first half. We had, I think off the top of my head, I've got about 3 or 4 really good chances and we didn't score any of them. So I think my takeaways really are that the game should have been put to bed earlier and we have to learn to play for longer than 45 minutes because it's been quite consistent now where we've almost looked better in the second half, but this time it was the other way around. So very frustrating. I think particularly frustrating because I had such high expectations for the Portsmouth match. I was really confident. And then when you watch the first 45, you're like, oh, okay, it renews your confidence. You're like, yes, I know what I believe now. And I'm just overall really frustrated.
Yeah, I mean, Jack, let me come to you next, mate, because, there's a comment here from Richard who says, Thomas will get the heat this morning. We can't afford to have any passengers, and starting Monga as a passenger at the moment. Wait, what? Monga, sorry, yeah. We know that, I think especially in that second half, there was many poor performances. They just couldn't really get going, and in the first half, there were a couple. I think Ricardo and Monga maybe had struggled a little bit in that first half. But on Thomas, do you think he's getting too much blame for that goal, Jack, or do you think it's fair? Because I'll just try my best here to show a little bit of this without getting copyright. Here we go. So there's the first one with Wout Faes.
Oh my fucking God!
And then you can see Thomas there.
Yeah.
And for me, Jack, he gets done twice. He gets done out of position slightly, not crazy. So here you can see the blokes running behind him. So you can see the gap, the space there. And then the second time he gets done is this one, which you see from Luke Thomas a lot. One touch sends him pretty easily. There you go, and he's down. And then we know the Jakob. So just seeing the goal again, Jack. What are your thoughts?
That's a fucking disgrace. It is. Carranza goes on the floor like Daka for a start. Leicester City caused their own problems this season. Teams ain't been causing us any issues. We just seem to have a game comfortable at 1-0 and then think, yeah, it's all right. It's only Portsmouth. It's pure arrogance. I'm sick and tired of these players being arrogant all the time. They did it against Wrexham. Cardboard copy. You've got the game comfortable. Go and kill the game off and get that second goal. But Leicester's like, nah, it's all right. We'll sit on 1-0. Portsmouth ain't really doing a lot last night. And then we cause our own problems. Carranza falls over like he's on bloody Teletubbies Hill. Fast, got to get the foot in, doesn't. And if he does, he'd probably end up in the same position as he did against West Brom. But Luke Thomas, he's got to get a foot in. I'm sorry, and then he just slips on his arse like it's bloody dancing on ice. I'm like, are you all right, mate? And Stolarczyk's positioning, he's got to do far better again. And I talk about Stolarczyk a lot this season because his awareness in games can be pretty poor at times and he can make the mistakes. But, yeah, shocking to concede that goal. I knew Portsmouth were going to score. I said to my mate behind me, I said, there'll be one point in this game where we'll cause our own issue again and they'll score out of nothing, and they did.
Yeah. Again, I'll ask you now, Steve. Kate says Thomas comes narrow because Fass has left the defence high and dry again. Do you think it's harsh? Like we said, do you think it's harsh to pinpoint this on one person? Do you think it is just a collective?
I think it is harsh to pinpoint it on one person, and I agree with what everyone's saying. But there's one point that nobody's made yet, and that is the goal scorer was the one that won the ball back in defence. There was no midfield runner tracking that runner. So as soon as he tackles the ball, he's off, and nobody's following him. So it's all well and good saying, Fast should have dealt with it, Thomas should have dealt with it. Ricardo came at the end. He was a little bit quicker. Maybe he would have dealt with it. Jakob could have potentially saved it, but we're on the counter and nobody's busting a gut to get back. And that's my issue. I was when that tackle happened and we saw the counter and fair play, Locks. You said the other day in the chat, do you want to play gung ho football, which we were effectively playing, and we got beat on the counter again. So yeah, that's my problem. We're not seeing the players sort of going 110% to try and stop a goal. Maybe they think, oh, Fass is good enough to get there, or Thomas will get a foot in. But it just doesn't happen. And it's frustrating. It really is.
Yeah, I mean, Graham, my problem, I think, because, again, what Steve's alluding to is a conversation we had with it, well, that I had with Steve in the week. And, I think there's a lot of fans who get frustrated with a lot of, possession-heavy football. And, when I see our team, Graham, I'm just like, well, I'm in favour of heavy possession because I don't want to have to defend. Like, I don't want Luke Thomas and Yannick Vestergaard and Wout Faes to have to defend anything, which is why I want us to keep the ball so much. But I think yesterday, Graham, we just, especially in that second half, I mean, it was like a different team compared to the first half. We just couldn't get anything going, Graham. It was just like, we'd get the ball forward and then we'd lose it and then just repeat. It was literally rinse and repeat, turn the ball over, have to defend. And when that happens, Graham, when you're constantly giving the ball away and then constantly having to defend, you're always going to concede with a couple of these players in our team who can't defend.
Well, I think going back to the point was made earlier, the whole team couldn't defend. Ricky P was out of position. I'm sure we had 3 midfield. Experienced pads player. I mean, I know we stick into these guys, but they're both internationals. He knows if he falls over, he's going to get. He said, "I don't want to make the same mistake last time. I try and push him wide. And you've got to say as well, that player that scored the goal on the park was one of the best players on the pitch. We always used to say, "Oh, Mahrez, turns somebody, puts a couple of people on their backside." He did, but we were in that position because we didn't take our chances. And I don't care what anybody says or what you say about possession football. We had 12 corners in the first half.
Agreed. Yeah.
We were on them, and we tried everything we could. Their goalkeeper pulled off 3 or 4. And then going back to our keeper, because I'm in the fucking union, and this pissed me off yesterday with your Aussie mate giving him 4 points. For God's sake, if he hands that, and of course his positioning is rotten, blah blah blah. That positioning where he managed to throw a leg out and stop us losing,
great,
is worth a 7 or 8 on its own. So goalkeepers are there. I mean, I know there's a lot of position about, but also we have to about positioning. But goalkeepers are there to save goals, and he didn't with the first one, but he did with the other one that really would have done us into. We didn't lose, but I think the issue is that we seem to expect. And whether it's the fans, because they're all professional footballers now, and Football Manager 26 has come out, they know better than everybody else. But, God damn, that's the problem. I'll tell you, the biggest problem on social media and everybody commenting is they play Football Manager. My son, when back in 2000 and frozen to death, could start in Ismailian League 2 and win the European Cup by 2 o'clock. So, everybody thinks that they know everything because they play that. But seriously, I think that we do have to remember that Portsmouth weren't shabby, and we've got to stop Premier League clubs loaning players to Championship teams if we want to win this league, because it's always those buggers that do us over. So I was really happy with the first half, possession based. I think the other thing that I think if you're going to look for positives out of the game, we have 3 people in midfield: Winks, your lover boy JJ, Ramsey. They are going to rock this league this season because there isn't a better 3 in midfield. I think we've said about Monga. Monga's just a boy. He's got, all I'm doing training with him is put 2 people in front of him and tell him to find a way of getting around them, because that's what he's going to get every game. So bring him on as an impact. I should say, we're complaining about our team, and don't get me wrong, what's his name had a brilliant first half on the right. But you could put X on the spot where he put every single ball in the box, which was 3 yards behind anybody in blue.
I have a statistic on that. I've got a statistic on that because I also noticed the crosses in the box. It's not just this game; it's actually been this season as a whole, and a continuation of sort of the Ruud van Nistelrooy era, let's call it. Crosses in the box are just no good. That 17% of our crosses were completed. So we had 30 crosses and 25 of them didn't reach any of our players. we know what Fatawi is going to do. Every single cross is a back post because he's predominantly left-footed, right? He always likes to move onto that foot. I understand that we did score from a cross and it was on his right foot, so it goes against the statistics or whatever else. But by and large, he's going to come onto his left and either shoot or cross to the back post. And I'm really surprised that we haven't put, well, it'd be the left winger in this case, always making that late run. And I do think it was a quiet evening for Monga. He's allowed those evenings, so isn't he? 16 years old. But I think I'd like to see Mavididi come back in, not only for competition, but also when you make the substitution, it's a bit more like for like. I think changing Monga for Bobby De Cordova doesn't really get you any further to winning a match. So, yeah.
Especially when he's injured.
Yeah. Well,
is Mavididi injured?
Yeah.
No, Bobby came on. He came on. He got himself injured within a minute.
Got a hammy. I'll tell you who I'd play on the wing.
Amazing.
Go on, Graham. I'm looking forward to this.
Is it Ayew?
When we no. Ayew though did well on that left-hand side. He made a lot of things happen. So no, I'm going to play Daka as it.
Oh, fuck's sake!
But he's so bad with the ball at his feet.
That cross last
night. But again, he's all he has to do is chase the ball down and then give it to somebody else. I just think that one of the only ways you're ever going to get this bloke's confidence back is by putting him. We needed an out ball yesterday, and we needed a ball over the top. And who's probably the fastest player that we've got? It's just a suggestion. You guys know better than me, but I would play him out there.
Yeah, I mean,
look, my sort of.
I was just going to say, Michael, we've seen him do it. No, I'm going to hand it to you, Michael, because I'm going to say, we've seen him, this is the thing with Daka, innit? It's we have seen him running behind in his career at Leicester, running behind and score a goal. I mean, as recent as the West Ham game last season, when was it Ruud's first game? I want to say it was Ruud's first game where Daka ran in behind, great finish, but. It's like a once every 2 year spectacle that he's able to do that and actually put the ball in the back of the net.
We spoke about it last week, so I apologise to anyone who's tuning in again. This idea of starters and finishers, and I think in the moment last week I was like, oh yeah, maybe you do get Daka to start a match, run a defence ragged, and then bring Ayew on. But what I actually think now is that you start Ayew. And then with 25, 30 minutes, you say, all right, let's stick the quick lad on. When their defence is already had a hard battle. And that's when games hopefully should start opening up for us as well. If, let's say, we are 1-0 up, they're going to be going on the attack. Positions can be opening in from behind. And that's where Daka is at his best. I really would push back on the idea of sticking him on the wing. I mean, he might get to the ball, but he'll be 20 yards in front of everyone else, and then he won't know what to do with it. So, stick him down the middle for me.
It's funny you say that because about maybe start Ayew, bring Daka on, because I was thinking about this earlier, Jack, and so when I look at our bench, right, so yesterday, so I'll just go from the midfield onwards. So Skip, Samare, Silko Thomas, Bobby De Cordova, so the main three here, Bobby De Cordova-Reid, Daka and Ayew, they're the three players, the three attacking players that when you need a goal, that they're your options. And I look at that three there, Jack, De Cordova-Reid, Daka and Ayew, and I think they're not they are three players who should, on paper, be brilliant players at championship level. But the problem, Jack, is I just don't think they're three players that really are going to make an impact to try and win a game. Those three, I think, are great players to see out a game. They're Bobby Reid, Ayew, and Daka. I think if you're 2-1 up and you need to see out a game, I think they're perfect options to bring off the bench. But when we need a goal, I'm just a bit I can't see us scoring by bringing them on. And
Ayew's our best number 9 man. I won't have it any other way.
Well, this is what I say as well. I say I want Ayew to start, and I think Ayew should start. But Jack, I just think that, when I see people moaning about Marty substitutions, I'm like, well, who do you want him to bring on? We ain't got no one else.
Your bench doesn't really bring bloody pleasing, does it? With the players that we've got, it's bloody most of the players that we want gone out of the club. So the thing is, when you're relying on them three to go and win you a game, when you draw into Portsmouth and got yourself in that situation, it's not great, is it? To be fair, you look at the bench and you think, who's really going to come here and get us the winner? Jordan Ayew, that shot that he had second half, just whistled past the post. You know, we talk about Jordan Ayew a year ago today at Southampton. He got the winner, 98th minute winner off the bench. So he can do it. But trusting bloody Daka on the wing ground, come on, mate. Sitting that cross that he put in second half for bloody whoever it was at the back post, I think it was Jordan James. It went out of play. I was thinking, all right, maybe that wing option ain't an option for me. But no, Patson Daka, he just bloody reminds me of George Hurst a bit. He says it's his bread and butter to score goals and he's getting nowhere near goal. He just runs like a bloody marathon runner and he's got no end product and don't know where the finish line is. So it's frustrating. It is. Jordan Ayew, he's not a number 9. He's a player who can play behind the striker, to be fair, in my opinion. He did it against Crystal Palace quite well, but I think that's our sort of problem, boys, this season. We haven't really got a striker who can bang them in. You know, Jamie Vardy left, and what plan did we have after that? We didn't. We just stood still again.
I mean, Steve, let me ask
you. There's a lot
of
stick coming for Daka. There's a lot of stick coming for Daka in the comment section. I think it's too early to completely judge Carranza, but from what I saw yesterday and from what I have seen so far this season, rather uninspiring. And I would argue that for all that, he hasn't scored in 12 months, and I do believe he is useless. And yes, I would like him out of the club. He most probably is our second choice striker, and I think that's just the position that Leicester's in, and we should, we have to deal with that. That's all I wanted to respond to everyone commenting about that.
I mean, I think that's fair. I mean, Steve, like with Daka, I mean, when we were doing the analysis earlier in the week, we said that, from the 2 games Daka started, Wrexham and Swansea, he's useless, right? But he's not useless because I feel we felt watching it that he makes other players look better because of all the running he does, because of the pressing, right? And in the Swansea game especially, I did think that was the case. And in the Wrexham game, I mean, I can't believe it. He actually had a first-time touch that played in JJ. Fair play to him. But so where are you at the minute, Steve? Because like I just I think I would agree with, I think it was Michael who said it, that Ayew is our best striker at the minute, and I think that says it all. When even Marty called him a 9.5, he's somewhere between a 9 and a 10. He's not even a striker.
Yeah, unfortunately for Daka, like actually, I think against Wrexham, we all saw the difference an actual striker can make, who can make those runs in behind and pull defenders away. So it gave players more space. So first half, great. Second half, it fell flat on its arse. Swansea, again, you saw that if you have a quick striker up front making moves, you open up the space for John James or Abdul Fatawu or, these players. Carranza, there was a couple of times yesterday where he made those runs in the first half. It looked okay. But look, realistically, I do think Ayew's our best player, and I do think Daka should be the backup. And I agree with what Michael said about bringing him on in the second half and giving him sort of 25 minutes, half an hour to run a defence. And as much as he is a bit useless, it only takes one goal to go off his arse. The same with Mavididi, really, where it gives him that confidence and you think, okay, we actually have a striker again. So, this squad is lacking confidence, and it still is from last season. There are players in this team that even look like Luke Thomas, just they're lacking the confidence still. But once they get that, if we go on a winning run of 3 or 4 games, not saying it will happen because let's be honest, it hasn't happened as of yet. But if it does happen and we get players scoring goals like Daka, then that mood around the team will be lifted. The fans will be happier, and just there will be goals going all over the place that we wouldn't usually score. Like last night, if we had a confident team last night, that goal that went across the box in the 94th minute, somebody's at the back post putting that in. So it's the small margins, isn't it, really? And if we're more clinical with a confident striker, then we win these games, and that's the difference.
Don't get me started on the back post, because I just thought there was never anybody on the fucking back post yesterday.
But that's where Steffi usually is, isn't it? He's usually on the back post. So, it's just frustrating.
Yeah. Well, that one you're talking about in the last minute, like Thomas obviously was on the back post. He got but then there was nobody on the other back. You know what I mean? When Thomas put it back across, why is no one fucking getting in there, man? Just because, I don't know, frustrated. Maybe Bobby Reid would have done it if he was at, if his leg was working. I know that he last season, for example, like he did that a few times. But Graham, right, let me come to you on this, mate. There's people in the chat who are asking for Graham's opinion on this, so it's time to talk about it. Carranza, because I know, I know last week, Graham, you were frustrated at people saying about Carranza, like already writing him off. And obviously it's the same now because he started a game and he wasn't great. So what are your thoughts on everybody slating Carranza? Because I will agree. Was it Steve or Jack? Somebody said Carranza just very uninspiring. And I feel like, he had that one opportunity. There was one attack from us where it was a simple ball to be played through to Carranza, and he just fucking made a meal of it, and he ended up kind of a bad touch, and he had to play Fatawu in instead. So, yeah.
Is that the one where it hit him on the back of the heel?
Yes.
Well, it was a poor ball. It was a poor ball.
It weren't a poor ball. It weren't. He should have taken it in his stride.
So if it hits you on the back of your heel while you're running, that's not a poor ball, is it? I don't know what. Again, too much fucking Football Manager, boy. No, seriously, I thought he's a different kind of striker. Let's go back to strikers as a rule. The reason there are so many draws in this championship is all the decent championship strikers have been moved up to the Premier League. And guess what? They've found out their crap as well. So we are not the only team looking for a fighter striker. Every team's looking for a striker. I think the issue yesterday, I was obviously very intent on watching him. And he did a very, what everybody's crying out for, a very old-fashioned centre-forward role. Got in amongst the defender, won the ball in the air, looked around, whatever. But again, all our strikers, their goal was because they managed to put the ball through, and they were running against a few players. We're not going to have that. We might get away at home a couple of games a season, but the last week proved with 3 goals that you don't need a centre forward. And if we'd have got our chances away this time on yesterday, we wouldn't be talking about a centre forward. We're going, oh yeah, did you see the space he made? When Winks hit this one. Is it me, or has Winks only got 1 foot and turns like the QE2 on that 1 foot? I know we have a go at everybody else, but I was watching him running around. I'm thinking, oh, I can play football if you've only got 1 foot and you just have to keep kicking it until you can get it in the right angle.
I think, mate, honestly, I saw some bits about Winks last night. It blows my mind. I think it sums Leicester fans up. Like, literally 3 weeks ago, everybody was saying, "Oh, thank God we've got Winks back." Like, he's a non-negotiable. If we don't play him, we lose. And then last night, I'm seeing people saying, "I can't wait until January so we can sell Winks." I'm like, what? Like, how can...
But the issue with that is that Leicester fans and Leicester City as a club are very bipolar, aren't they?
Yes,
It's good 1 minute, it's bad the next minute, and it is interchangeable within a couple of seconds.
Yeah. Well, honestly, even how bad does it have to be that Luke, right, Aussie Luke, is sat on stream last night, and he's looking at the live chat and he's going, "Oh my God, like this is head loss. Like people are going fucking crazy." If you guys are making Luke think what the hell is going on here, then there's something seriously wrong. If even Luke is surprised by the head loss. But Michael, let me ask you, mate, because I'm going to just slightly move the conversation on to kind of the overall picture before we talk about, because we're going to talk about the goals, so don't worry. But drawing 5 of 10 games is poor in the Championship for a former Prem team. I would exclude the former Prem team out of that. I don't think that's really relevant. I think we're a different team now. But we are unbeaten in, is it 8 games now? 8 games. I think we're unbeaten in 8, but 5 of them are draws. It's not a great habit to be in, is it, Michael? Drawing games. Although I suppose Graham was right what he said. It's better than a loss.
No, it'd be nice to win some of them, wouldn't it? I think overall, I didn't watch any Championship football last season. I'll be honest with you, and unless Leicester are in the Championship, I'm not going to watch it. But I really underestimated sort of the level difference, because I thought players like Ayew would come in and score 15, 16 goals. Thought players like Bobby Decordova-Reid would be just a class above. And also, you know, there are players like Fatawi who are sort of living up to the billing, let's say. But yeah, we're really
the most
struggling.
games we've drawn in the season? You know what? How many games is the most we've drawn in the season? Is 11 games
in a championship season,
or in any season? It doesn't matter. Championship is 11 games. I mean, if you look very quickly, if you look at the whole league, it's Draw City out there. To your point, you're thinking we should be a head and shoulders above everybody because, but go down 3 points below us and it's all the same old rubbish. Anyway.
Well, that's because you're making a very valid point. We do keep drawing, but we're sat like fourth in the league, and we're only sat 4 or 5 points off of the top. So it would have been great for us to have not given away some sloppy goals, and I do think at some point it is going to click, and I hoped actually that the win against Swansea was the clicking point, but that just hasn't been the case. But yeah, we need to really, it did click in the first half. But we need to control games better from winning positions and kill games off when we need to as well.
I think my frustration, Locks, really quickly, is that if you convert 2 of those draws out of the last 5 into wins, that's 6 points. We're top of the table. You know, and then come the potential points deduction, we're not looking at it as like it's a big issue now. Whereas you get that 9 points or whatever it is now, we're catapulted to the bottom of the league pretty much. So that's my frustration. Convert some of those games into wins, and then we're all happy. Everyone's not going crazy at Luke Thomas for making a mistake, or what striker's the issue. So.
We've only lost once, right? We've only lost one game this season in the league. I mean, Jack, talking of draws, like there has been 39 draws so far this season in the Championship. There's been a lot of draws so far, and I feel like I can't remember. I think it was two games ago. Like there was so many draws, and you've got to look at the bigger picture as well, Jack. I know we shouldn't be comparing ourselves to these two teams, but Ipswich, they're down in 12th. You've got Southampton, who are down in 16th. Obviously, Sheffield United are down there as well. They're still a parachute team, down in 23rd. It's just taking teams. It's just taking them a while to adapt and to kind of get past the heartbreak, I think, of last season and kind of bandage over the scars. I think, Jack. Like, I think the thing that gets me the most, Jack, is like all the people who I see in the chat yesterday saying, Marty out, oh, this ain't good enough, oh, this is disgraceful, blah, blah, blah. Those same people were saying 3 months ago, we're going to finish mid-table. We're not going up. It's going to be a hard season. And now they're getting on the manager's back because we're not in first place. I don't really understand it.
I think Graham's reaction says it all there, to be fair. The thing is, the Championship's difficult. It is. It's you can't predict the Championship. It's so unpredictable. It can be very unforgiving at times. And you look at some Championship seasons, you probably 2 of the teams are running away with it at this point. You see Leicester last time when we were in the Championship, we were running away with it. Ipswich were up there as well. Leeds. This season, it's the case of it's tight. No one can predict any game this season to what it is, no matter where you are in the table. Leicester, we've caused our own sort of little downfall in games, haven't we? Where we've not seen games out or controlled games, like Michael says, which I agree. We need to learn to be doing better. I mean, 5 draws out the last 6. If we can learn to control games better and see them games out and actually score a second goal and kill games off better, we win more games. But I've sort of looked at these games over the last, 5 games, and you can see these teams want to really give these teams like Leicester, Ipswich, Southampton games because they can see that these teams, there's chances there for them. You look at Portsmouth and Wrexham. they just don't give up, do they? You know, you think, you know what, oh, we've got more quality than you. It's all right. We'll walk all over you. But it ain't the case. Pompey last night, they could have even gone and won the game in the end. And Wrexham could have done the same against us, because these teams just bide their time with Leicester and Ipswich and that, and then they'll just hit you when you're not expecting it. So this is what the Championship is. It's going to be a long haul. You don't have no given right to win any game. You've got to earn it. And in Leicester's case, that's why we're drawing, because we probably don't deserve to win games at times, and the way we're treating it with arrogance.
I feel like if Marty'd had a full pre-season, because there's support going on for him in the chat right now, a full pre-season would have really helped him out, because at times in matches but not only a full pre-season, but also getting your players in earlier than when the season's already started will also be a great deal of help to us. But we also out there just look out of ideas too often on the pitch. And I'm hoping that maybe come game where we currently at 10, so maybe like game 50, and we start having something different about us. We were very one-sided yesterday. Obviously, it didn't help that Monga wasn't having his best game, but if it wasn't for Fatawi, we weren't creating a great deal other than that. So I'd like to just see us find more routes to chances. And that sounds so basic and boring, most probably, but a manager who's on a great whack more than me should be able to figure that out, hopefully.
And to add to the lack of a pre-season for Marty, you've got to look at the £0 spent in the summer window.
Brilliant result, Rudkin. That's my man. Get in there. How much did they spend? How much did it not spend?
I'll tell you now. So Ipswich spent 59 million, although they are in a profit because they sold. But so
they'd accrued a lot of Delap and so on, wouldn't they?
Yeah, so they bought, Ipswich bought 59, this is in euros, 59 million euros. Southampton spent 55 million euros. Wrexham spent 37 million euros. Even Middlesbrough spent 22 million euros. The only thing to caveat that with, I suppose, is Southampton are in the green, 71 million, but they are the only team that have a net spend lower than ours. I mean, our profit's 57 million. We sold 57 million euros worth of players and spent zero. And Southampton sold 127 million euros.
How many players did you bring in?
Five players, but they're all free. So you brought in Begovic.
Oh yeah, well, good business then. And look at your love child, JJ. What bringing him in? Ramsey, woo! It's not like you can go zero net spend, but actually, when you look at what the others have spent, and they can't integrate their players into the team, it's going to take time.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's frustrating if those people calling for Marty to leave, they need to genuinely have a look at themselves and what do they actually want from this team and from this club? You've got a manager that is trying their hardest to reconnect the playing squad and the fan base again. He's going out to pubs and eating fish and chips with Gideon Balaguer, whatever, but still in the local area. He had one day in the transfer window where he could bring players in. And okay, whether or not you think that's good enough or not, I personally think we should have done better with that. But it is what it is. You've got to give this guy at least 2 or 3 transfer windows to get his own mark on the team. You've got players here that are still here from the Brendan Rodgers era. That was 4 odd years ago. So take a step back, look at where we are, look at where we were last season, and we were fighting to get managers out after 3 or 4 games, and just accept that. This is a transition. If we don't go up this season, it might not be the end of the world. We go up to the Premier League and we're terrible anyway. So, just try and enjoy it a bit more.
But he is also trying new things as well. There was one big problem with the back end of Van Nistelrooy was that he was just wheeling out the same 11 every week and they were seeing the same results. But if you do look at Marty, he's changed the back line. Bringing in Faith, whether rightly or wrongly, changed the back line. Been trialing 10s relentlessly, switching Mabadini Monga, always the number 9. He's tried 3 different strikers now as well. So I think with enough experimentation, he's going to get the right answer.
Yeah. So Tony in the chat. This one's for you, mate. This one's for you. There you go, mate. Tony's Tony's Marty out. You know, he's saying if we want a bloke to eat fish and chips, bring in Gordon Ramsay. Great business, Graham. We could be halfway done. I mean, what a ridiculous point, Tony. I think the point is we're not. We're fourth, right? We're fucking fourth with the lack of signings. Also, this is just not true. We have signed players in the last 18 months. And he also says if we want an articulate man, bring in the bloke from Sky News. I mean, I don't get it. I don't get it, Tony. Tony also says it's the same crap that Rude turned out. I mean, if you think this is the same crap as what Rude was turning out, then I'm talking to Stevie Wonder, I think. But yeah, I don't. And yeah, Steve, that's the point you were making. You were talking about this. Look, I want to just. There is one more thing we need to talk about, which is the sponsor, and I'm looking forward to this discussion big time. So I'm just going to quickly show this goal which Jack sent as part of his vlog. This was obviously the quality goal from Aaron Ramsey yesterday.
Go on, Abdul. Go on.
I mean, Jack was on the other side of the ground, so you can't see much, but we all saw the goal. I'll just ask you, Graham, very quickly. I mean, very, very good finish, mate. It's a little scorpion kick. That's what you want from a number 10, isn't it? Just a bit of spark, getting a goal out of nowhere. Really, I know it wasn't out of nowhere, but he had to think quick on his feet, and he got it in.
It was a lovely goal, wasn't it? You'd pay good. That's what you go to football for, to be entertained. And that was entertaining. So if you've got a point that you want to raise with me, I've got to go and board a plane in 5 or 10 minutes. So get my blood pressure up and ask me about sponsorship.
Okay, well, let's do it. So I'll start with Graham and then I'll go to everybody else because he's got to board a plane. So obviously was it Friday, whenever it was, Friday night, was it? Leicester City announced that we are now continuing our partnership with BC Game as our front of shirt sponsor. We've not had a sponsor for, since the end of last season. There were rumours it was going to be this K-Bet. Obviously, the reaction online was pretty mad, so they kind of backed out of that deal. Steve will tell us more about that in a bit, because I know he's been speaking to somebody. But we are now still with BC Game, which has, of course, led to a crazy, a reaction online that I think, we all expected. I did a little poll as well, just to see how balanced it really was. I just said, what's everybody's thoughts? Take the money or morals over money? Morals over money did win that poll by 54%, but it was closer than I thought. A lot of people still just thought, take the money. I know my thoughts on this, but I'm going to go to Graham first. I think he shares the same thoughts as me. Go on, Graham. What are your thoughts? What would you say to the people that are so kind of up in the air about BC Game as our shirt sponsor?
Well, I'm very disappointed that an organisation that's supposed to represent the fans managed to use the sad death of Luke, who had a gambling addiction problem, to use their point to have a punch at the club as usual. It took them 3 days to come up with a statement. This is the Foxes Trust, if you don't know what I'm talking about, that have been infiltrated by a load of wankers, in my opinion. It took them 3 days to say a very kind of half-hearted congratulations and well done to Susan Williams, but within 3 minutes can hit the moral high ground. If you, by these standards, we should not have King Power as a sponsor. They sell cancer sticks. They sell addictive liquor that leads to very many problems. If you look round the ground yesterday, there was Sky Bet being flashed up. There was another betting company being flashed up. Who's ever heard of this company that are spending 20 million with us? You've got to be really sad if you're going to go and search them out to go and bet. The other thing is that, and who wants a betting company on their shirt? None of us do. Tops Tiles. I mean, obviously, home renovation addicts. There's a problem there. Walker's Chris, we're talking obesity. Einku. So, where are we with this? 50% of the football teams in the Premier League shirt sponsors are betting companies. 25% of the teams in the Championship. Just get off your fucking high horse. look after people you think might have these sort of problems and take 20 million quid that could be the difference between you getting that striker that you want and not. And knowing full well that at the end of this season, no more betting sponsorship here in the Leicester children.
Right. Well, I knew you would be this opinionated on this, Graham. So we're gonna go around and see what everybody else thinks. So, Michael, let me come to you next. I'll tell you where I am, on it, mate. I think
wrong person to ask, my man.
Well, I understand. I understand it all. I understand why some people are, so kind of against the idea. But what I would say, mate, is, yes, from I suppose we also we have an alcohol sponsor on our sleeve. There's another thing that a lot of people suffer addiction with, and nobody has ever said anything about us having that beer sponsor on our sleeve. But on top of that, we've had Sky Bet logos plastered over the King Power Stadium, plastered everywhere in English football for many, many years. That's always there. And, I just think that, I see people saying, just go with Pucker Pies or Walkers. And I'm like, how much are they going to pay? They're going to pay about fucking 500 grand a year or something compared to 20, 30 million. So what are your thoughts on it all, Michael? Where I think I know where you are with it, but go on, talk to me.
No, my honest opinion is I really try to stay out of football politics, and I just take what is happening in the 90 minutes as what it is, and I just avoid it all. I haven't got a great deal of an opinion on it. I apologise to anyone, and I'll allow someone who might have more of an opinion to chime in. But I would say that gambling as a whole is most probably quite intertwined with sports in general. So the fact that it's a gambling company, I don't particularly have an issue with. But I obviously do understand that, yes, some people struggle from this, but, you can't hide away from everything, I suppose.
Steve, you can talk about that, what you've put. So about, how Sky Bet are a registered company, a legal registered gambling company, BC Game aren't. So from what you've seen, Steve, is the outrage that it's a dodgy company, or is the outrage that it's a gambling? Because I get the impression it's because it's gambling.
Well, I think it's a bit of both, to be honest. I think you could argue it either way. From what I've seen, it's more of the point that it's an illegal betting company that we got our wrist slapped last season by the Gambling Commission in the UK for using, and then we've just gone back to them again. So that's the thing. Like I think, look, you got to get the money where you can get it. You can't moan about PSR and then complain about a gambling sponsor when they're going to give you the most money. That's fair enough. I understand that. Personally, it's more the point that they're not a registered UK company or in the UK. They're not on the. They went bankrupt last season and they got all of their licenses got kicked out. So that's why we got our arses felt by the Gambling Commission, because they weren't registered in the UK. They weren't a legal company to be trading in the UK. And a lot of these companies that are on sponsorships in the Premier League have a company in the UK, whereas BT Games are a bit shady and they don't. So, yeah, but I think realistically, getting gambling out on the shirt from next season is a good thing. But look, I sort of agree with Michael as well. Like, I don't like it, but football's football. We've got no soul. 1992 came around, Sky fucked off a load of people, and look at where we are now. So, yeah, it's just a bit annoying.
The thing I find crazy as well, can I just say, is that like they are banning gambling sponsors in general, right? And even registered in the UK companies. So, but it's still going to be the Sky Bet Championship. Like, so but you can't wear a Sky Bet, right? You can't wear a Sky Bet sponsor in the Sky Bet Championship. Is it next season or the year after, whenever it is? I just think it's like, I don't know. It just blows my mind a little bit, to be honest with you. It does blow my mind a little bit, all of this. Go on, Graham. I know you had something else to add as well.
Yeah, no, I've got to go because the plane won't wait for me. But the other thing is, any of us that have been around sport for a long period of time know that everybody's crooked. Leicester City, we had 4 directors that bought Bede Island and tried to move the club there because they were going to make a shed load of cash. Back in the old days, at half time, I used to go down to the not the boardroom itself, but where people get. And a bloke would come down with a bag of change to go into the boardroom from one of the turnstiles, where that was divvied up between the directors. We had 4 undeclared bankrupts on the board of Leicester, who were the only income they had was from the club. So where is this moral high ground? We had Formula One sponsored by Marlborough, JPS, all this sort of thing. We had snooker by Embassy. Absolutely. Let's work this thing out. Let's get rid of all the things that can addict people. But I felt, my feeling is, especially with the Foxes Trust, any opportunity to slap our club, any opportunity to have a go at the board, they want to do that. And there are some really good people on the Foxes Trust, but there are some people there that just want to cause trouble.
Can I also just say that if you do your research on the history of King Power, they're not whiter than white. Vichai did a lot of dodgy things in the early days to get that money.
I used to work for them. I know exactly where they come from. You do not hold power in Thailand on a company that makes so much 75% profit without being. No, I can't really say, but just there's a lie.
Well, there's no billionaires in the world, is there, that are morally on the right side of history? Let's be honest.
No. But let's go back to, and I know everybody, people they would like them out, but we have the first owners in the history of this club who spent more money in the community and they give them back millions to charities or whatever, when the rest of the buggers were just stuck lining their pockets. So there is a balance, in my opinion.
Right, Graham, I'm going to let you go so you can go and catch the plane.
You've had enough, haven't you?
Where are you flying? Where are you flying?
On the Riyadh in Saudi Arabia. But I will be back in the UK, and we might have some news about what we're going to do together on Sunday, Habibi.
Sounds dodgy, that. Is it this Sunday? Is it next Sunday?
No, we'll do it the Sunday afterwards, after we've seen the game, because it's away, isn't it? So, it doesn't quite work. But lovely to see you all. Thank you very much. We all have one thing.
Lovely to see you, my man.
Pain of supporting Leicester City.
See you soon, Graham. Guys. Cheers, mate.
Safe travels, mate.
Jack. Yeah, absolutely. Jack, let me come to you, mate. Just get your thoughts on this then, mate. The gambling sponsor. I think you probably want to do what Michael's doing, right? And just stay out of football politics. But what are your thoughts on the announcement of BC Game? At least they've changed the logo a little bit, so it's not a Pac-Man anymore. I don't know if you noticed that.
Yeah, I try not do it, to be fair. I just try and focus on the football side of things. I think with Leicester, I think they've got to do the due diligence is a lot more better, haven't they? You looked at some people sort of questioned about why Susan Whelan left, and maybe there's more to why she left. Who knows? Maybe they did things over her head that she wasn't happy with. This is it. But she did make little mistakes. She's not the only. She's not a saint, is she, all around? She's obviously done more good things for the club than bad. So. Yeah, I think maybe that's why Susan Whelan did leave in the end. Maybe she just wasn't happy with what was to come, which obviously is the thing that got announced on Friday. But the thing is, football's full of gambling and everything like that, isn't it? And that's the way football's been for years. And yeah, that's why I sort of not look at it. They've got Sky Bet, they've got bloody Ladbrokes, they've got Bet365, they've got bloody every bets company under a sponsor. Every advert that comes after a football game, you watch it during like Premier League Championship and that. They always come with a bloody, here's £10 if you put 20 quid on. I'm like, okay then. That's just my mentality.
Are they stopping the commercials as well? The adverts?
I think they are.
Do you know?
I think
they need to. They need to sort of help people a lot more as well. I think, people who are really struggling in this day of time, like mental health and that, due to like gambling and that, I think they need to sort of be aware of how people do struggle and take it on board and that, to be fair.
But this is the thing, it's like, so the EFL are going to stop teams taking the highest bidder in gambling sponsors, but they are themselves sticking with their highest bidder, which is Sky Bet, as the official sponsor of the league. It just fucking stinks. It fucking stinks. And, I don't know. I mean, if you were the clubs, you'd be up in arms saying, well, we ain't fucking taking away betting sponsors until you take away betting sponsors. How can you continue to call yourselves a Sky Bet Championship, but then stop us from having sponsors. It's ridiculous.
If you're a real conspiracy theorist as well, you can you can look at Sky reporting on transfer rumors that then they're impacting their betting odds of their betting company. So that in my eyes, they're most probably just fabricating rumors to make more money there. So there's lots, the betting industry as a whole is not very clean, but
true.
Any chance to win £1 million, I'll take.
The shirt sponsors should have been King Power. Every time we have it on the shirts, we get promoted. It's an open for success.
Got no money.
Exactly.
That's the thing, isn't it? To be fair, with King Power struggling at this minute in time with the reports that obviously come out a few months back, how much money are they really going to bring in compared to what other sponsors are going to offer? Probably not enough.
Yeah. Steve, what do you think to this here, mate? I mean, again, it's just like another opinion. I mean, morals are another excuse for fans to get mad at the board. I mean, I do feel like it's, I don't know, like, I feel like it's blown up a little bit. I don't know, but I'm not affected by it, right? Or people are, so I suppose it's easy for me to say. You're on mute, mate. On mute.
Bloody hell, I'm all over the place this morning. Just say about morals and having a go at the board.
Yeah. So the comment was, morals are another excuse for fans to get mad at the board.
I disagree. I think you can have your opinion on certain things, and because, like, look, I don't get angry about everything to do with Leicester City. I think it's a bit pointless. You're wasting a lot of your own energy and your fine amount of time on this world getting angry at individual people for running a football club.
I don't like the beer anyway, so I don't moan.
Well, yeah, I don't drink it, so it's fine. But £3.10 for a bottle of water, that is a disgrace.
That's what I was doing for the prices.
Yeah, but realistically, people are going to get angry because a lot of the time they don't have a lot of things going on in their life, so they try and find things to get angry about anyway to give them some sort of emotional distress or to change what they're thinking in their own life. But you can have morals and still be angry at a board. You can not have morals and be angry at the board. I think it's fine. You can choose whatever you want to get angry about. That's your life at the end of the day. But I just think it's a bit silly. But like with the better sponsorship, so I said to you last few days ago that from what I had gathered, we'd paid out of pocket to leave KBet. A significant amount of money, so it makes sense that we go back to BT Game if they're willing to offer us sort of 15-16 million pounds for the season. Like, I don't like it, but it makes sense. And somebody mentioned about like Walker's Crisps and these sort of like Walker's Crisps have just laid off like 200 people in the local factory around here. They don't have the money. Not just King Power. No, neither do plenty of companies in the UK that you think, oh, we'll get them sponsors. Nobody's going to offer 15 million pounds to sponsor a football club because it's a black hole. And you're only ever going to get shady companies doing it.
I want to.
I was also just going to add that all of this is a complete non-news story. If we're sat top of the league and we've gone 5 games winning, and then no one's actually talking about who's on the front of the shirt. The moral question: morals go out the window if you're winning a trophy, right? Like look at Newcastle, for example. Their ownership group. They want a League Cup. Their fans are over the moon. They don't care who their owners are. Go on, you can take it from there.
No, I think he's right in it, Jack, Michael. That there will still be sections for sure. I think Fox's Trust, for example, they would still, they would still be kind of releasing a statement. I think even if we were top of the league, but I think large parts of the fan base would just not even be moaning about it, Jack. If we were top of the league, clear by 7 points or whatever.
I just like to focus on the football side of things, It's up to them, and if they want to ruin whatever it is, that's their side of things off the pitch. It ain't my concern. I don't own the club. I don't run the club. I just pay my season ticket and watch Leicester City. At the end of the day, I have enough bloody stress. And that's why I'm losing my hair so quick. But
whoa, hang on, whoa! You said to me last night you weren't losing your hair, you weren't going Oliver Skip, but now you are. So, well, there you go.
Michael might have some tablets.
No,
I'd have nothing for you.
When I spoke to Dan before the game, Steve, he were on about a BC game, and he said, "Oh, Jack," he said, "yeah, but we can buy Jordan James with that money in January." I'm just like, "Damn, mate, don't try and bloody sweep this under the carpet, act like it's nothing."
Right, the last question I'm going to ask you all, I'm going to just go round. I'll start with you, Michael. You look at the table here, mate. How confident are you, Michael, that we're still going to go up this season?
Go up this season? Because my sort of prediction for the start of the year was being in the playoffs. And actually, whether we won the playoffs is a completely different thing, because that's just a whole different ball game. It does depend on the point deduction, but I'd say I'm pretty confident we'll go up.
Yeah. Over to you, Steve. What are you saying, mate?
This might be controversial, but I think that I want a trip to Wembley, so let us go up in the playoffs. I don't think we'll get automatics. I think Coventry will do really well this year, unless Frank Lampard leaves. I think that they're fine. Ipswich will come back into it. Give me a playoff final win. I'll be happy with that.
That's going to be, I think as well, by the way, can I just add as well, like, I feel like people are quietly, kind of unconsciously more angry about being fourth because Coventry are top. I feel like that's affecting people because they are first and having such a good season. But
yeah, they're playing really well.
Well, they've drawn 4 games themselves. I didn't even realise that. They've drawn 4.
But they've scored 29. That's the problem.
Yeah, although Haji Wright is severely overperforming his XG, I think.
Yeah.
Or he is, yeah. So, that's not a bad thing, right? He's scoring a lot of goals, but that could easily dry up. Jack, what about you, mate? What are you hopeful for promotion still?
It depends on the points deduction scenario, doesn't it? I think that's what we look at, to be fair. How many points that is, or even if we get one, to be honest. But I'd say if we don't get top 2, I think we can definitely do it in the playoffs. I bloody hate the playoffs after how the last 2's gone, to be honest, with Watford and Cardiff. But some of my mates who supports Coventry said, "Oh, Leicester and Coventry in the M69 derby in the final." I was like, mate, don't do that to me for 90 minutes.
They're just the complete opposite to us, aren't they? Because they have complete stability. They obviously had Frank Lampard came in last season, so he had a whole preseason with him and the last season. I don't think they sold any players. I don't think they particularly brought anyone in, and that seems to just pay dividends for them. Obviously,
and also they bought their stadium, didn't they? But they bought their stadium, so like the confidence of buying your own stadium and that boost for the fans as well. Like they're in a completely different place to where we are, really.
Yeah,
but
Well, scoring goals fail. Game, Steve.
Oh yeah, I just hope they fail. I hope they go up and they get like 6 points.
Yeah, they probably
do every season in reverse, because like the last couple of years they've started really slowly and made a push and sort of got around the playoffs. Let's hope they start strongly and poorly.
But then they will end up in the playoffs and we'll play them in the final and then we'll lose it. Oh fuck! Oh no!
Yeah.
I mean, it's that.
It's so far away. It's not worth thinking about.
Yeah. I always think about Jeff Peters, who I know some people like, but I mean, I can't stand him. And he was the one saying that I can't believe Leicester sacked Cooper, and then he said the same about Mark Robbins. He was like, I can't believe they've sacked Mark Robbins. That how disrespectful, how terrible, blah blah blah. Now look at them, right? So he's doing something. Lampard's doing something with that squad that Robbins couldn't. So. Jay Evans says, "Locks, you see my pain. As long as Cov don't win the league, I'll be happy. We need 6 points from the next 2. I think we all agree with that. We would want to win the next 2 games. Yeah. Where was the other one I wanted to see? Considering I still think we'll be in playoffs due to points deduction, automatic promotion don't seem happening. Yeah, I think that's probably true. And final comment from Guess again: we need to look at the table as if we are -9 points. If we get less than that, it's a bonus. So we'll wait and see. Thanks to everybody for joining us. Thanks to Graham as well. Thanks to Michael. Thanks to Steve. Thanks to Jack. Just a reminder that if you want your own little Jamie Vardy little frame there, I'm trying to get a good angle on this. There we go. I'll figure this out.
You were
There
showing
we
us
go.
your hand on there, Locks. I thought, hold on a minute.
If you fancy one of them, use the link in the description. I've just posted it in the chat. Sorry, not in the description. Use code BTG12 at checkout for a Christmas present for somebody. And that's pretty much it. We'll be back live tomorrow, 7 p.m. for the call-in show. And go and check out Jack's vlog as well, The Final Whistle. Go and check that out now. Frankie says stop showing the Sydney Sweeney post. I can't show that. It's covered in...
Got Jordan James one behind him, innit?
Yeah, Jordan James poster incoming. Right, see you all. Cheers all. See you soon. All the best, and enjoy the rest of your Sundays. Bye. Big shout out to our new sponsor, The Beautiful Frame. They have absolutely smashed it with this Jamie Vardy piece. They're a local Leicester business as well, which makes it even better. And not just Leicester, they do prints for other clubs too. Honestly, perfect if you're stuck for a birthday or Christmas present. The best bit, they've sorted Blue Tinted Glasses followers with a discount. Just use the code BTG12 at checkout for money off. Grab yours now at thebeautifulframe.com. The link is in the description of the video.